evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 30 of the League One review show. And we're coming to the end of a League One review show because, as everybody knows, Doncaster Rovers have been relegated. So this show will be going through a rebrand in the summer, unfortunately. But I'm joined with three people who are very happy or reasonably happy. There's one extremely happy person down in the bottom right-hand corner as I'm looking at it. And then there's two rather nervous, but I'm guessing happy to be in the playoffs people in Punk Chef and Jonathan Harris. So we'll go around the panel, introduce them and give them an opportunity to tell you guys what they're all about. What we're going to do is go through the fixtures from midweek, and then we'll go through the final day fixtures yesterday, have a look through those, see what impact it had on the league table and where we've finished up this season. Get your comments in as always, and we'll try and see as many as we can. This show tonight is going to be about 30-40 minutes, and then we'll be done. So we will start to my left or right on the screen. Punk Chef 41. Tell the viewers what you're all about. You're pretty regular on the channel, so they should know anyway.
Sheffield Wednesday fan. I do Wednesday content. I've been doing it for the last, I think it's 11 years now. Way too long. Some people say that's way too long to be doing videos on Wednesday, but hey, I do that. I also do a Talking Wednesday podcast with my co-host, Thirsty Box. He is also on YouTube as well. And we're just finger crossing how Barry Bannon's injury is.
Yeah. Like we said before we came live, he had his daughter on his shoulder, so possibly not
I think
too
he's
bad.
okay, yeah. I think it might have been cramp, but you
We'll
never like
see,
it when they're
days.
going after a ball and it's like 60th minute, you're like, you're winning. You don't need to go for that, but Barry Bannon don't give up.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next person on the panel, we've got a couple of comments early on. Hazard, come on Wednesday. We've got Jeff Cott, the Prince of Plymouth. No comment. It wasn't too. He wasn't looking forward to it in last week's stream, to be fair to him. Physically sick. I do feel for you. You were pace setters for a long period of time in the season, and then just to drop out on the final day. We will get to that, I'm sure, when Jonathan talks about the Scott Twine show a little bit later on. And then we've got Nat, a regular viewer as well. Evening, Dapper Jake, Jonathan, and Ian.
Right now.
Hiya, Nat.
So moving to the person below me, we've got Jonathan Harris. Tell the viewers about yourself and what you do, mate.
Well, my name's Jonathan Harris, and I'm a MK Dons fan for my sin. Been a really good season, pipped to the post by the top two, but we did have that 10 minutes of hope in the first half where we were briefly second. But I'm just hoping they're wrapping Scott Twine in cotton wool, ready for the playoffs, and I'm sure I'll be with Jake hiding behind the sofa for the next couple of games.
Yeah, it's going to be very nervy. There's four very good teams in the playoffs. Before we move on to the happiest person on the panel, we've got Tyler in the chat as well, saying, well, at least it's over. Yeah, at least it's over and you're in League One, Tyler. I'm saying at least it's over, but we're back in League Two after 5 years in League One. But the final person on the panel is Ian Bradley. Welcome to the show, Ian. Very happy after this weekend. Tell the viewers who you are and what you're all about, mate.
Hello, I'm Ian. I'm 60-year-old and I've been a Millers fan for 50 years. I do contribute to DCD4 Football, which is a website and YouTube channel specifically for League 1 and 2 sides. And I also have done some work for overthebar.com, another site that specialises in the lower leagues. Yeah, very, very happy. We got over the line and I concur with Tyler. Thank God it's over. Yeah.
We've got a couple more comments just before we move on. We've got Lewis. All right, guys. Good evening, Lewis.
Right, Lewis.
We've got Andrew. This is a comment for you, Jonathan. You threw it away twice, losing to Hus. Yeah, the double. We'll show you something about that in a short while.
Yes.
And then Jeff Cott, without sounding bitter, referee was Wycombe fan all day long. Twine was outstanding, but two of his 4 goals were offside. His free kick wasn't a free kick. Our red wasn't a red. So we'll go into that in a little bit more detail, or Jonathan will, when we get onto that game. And then we've got Matthew. As a Sunderland fan, I'm unusually optimistic for Friday. Looking at 40,000 plus attendance will happen. Hoping for a special night under the lights. It's always special.
It should be good for both sets of fans. They always take a huge following Wednesday, and your place will all be packed. For me, for Wednesday, it's a different kettle of fish. We only play you when you have Lee Johnson and Alex Neil. They change you completely how you play and how it is. So for us, it's kind of like we can't use past games that we played against you because you're completely different size now.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got Tix on tour, who's just dropped in. Very happy man this weekend. Wigan champions. We've been saying it for a number of weeks.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations, yeah.
From all of us. So moving on to the fixtures from this week. Although Wigan got to the championship in the end and won the league, they made a tough game of it, didn't they? With the 3-2 defeat midweek, it kind of opened the door for Rotherham, but I think we said last week that even with that result, it was Wigan's to lose, wasn't it?
Yeah. We're unusual though for 2-0 up at half time.
Yeah,
I didn't think they'd let it go like that.
Yeah, so a very surprise result there. But we will move on to Fleetwood 2, Sheffield Wednesday 3. So Jake, the floor is all yours for this one. Ramifications at both top and bottom of the League One table for this one.
So started the game out really well. Started really early doors. Lee Gregory doing what Lee Gregory does best, but we fell asleep. Silly error. I think I heard somewhere this weekend that they actually had the pitch that kind of way to play their style of football, which is all good and fair enough because that's what they do. And we just didn't turn up. And it's kind of bad when your centre forward who gets the hat trick at the end of the game said the manager gave us a bollocking at half time. And he said that to live radio, and he went, "Oh yeah, shit." Gave them a bollocking at half time, and they woke up, and you could tell they woke up. And the problem I've got at the minute with Wednesday is we're seeming to need a goal to wake us up to get back into the game, and that's something in the playoff you don't want. You want to be able to start from the front foot. I think since the MK game, we haven't started that quick, or we've not taken the chances. But Lee Gregory gets a hat-trick, very good goals as well, and 21 shot, but 6 on target. We need to up that. And much as we've said all this season, it's all right us having all this possession and all these shots. It don't mean nothing if you don't go in. And that's our issue at times. But we're starting to get players back. Windass came on for this as well, made a difference, nearly scored. And I think a fit Josh Windass with Lee Gregory and Saido Berahino in your squad, you may have a difference maker. And then you have Barry Bannon. It's interesting, but they made a work for it. And I kind of felt for Fleetwood because they actually did deserve to get something from it. And if anyone's seen Napper's vlog, it sums it up. They kind of went, we had our chance, and they haven't been very good at defending leads this year. They seem to blow it quite quickly. And 73-74 kind of says it all, really, with how quick we were. It was a kick-out glitch if you play FIFA.
Yeah, definitely. But that put Fleetwood in a bit of a position coming into the final day. Like you say, they could have done with the point or more to ease their worries coming into the final day, but we'll get onto that in a short while. But this is your opportunity to talk us through Sunderland 1, Rotherham 1, and give us a little bit of an insight, or Jake a bit of an insight, going into the playoff semi-final between them and Sunderland. What are they all about, mate?
Well, to be quite honest with you, it was a 1-1 draw, which under normal circumstances would be a good point. And it was a good point because it was the point that sent us up in hindsight. But at the final whistle, it felt like a defeat because we controlled the game virtually from start to finish. We scored a reasonably good goal. Michael Smith missed a sitter straight after it. Victor Johansson, our goalkeeper, hardly had a shot to save the entire game. And then free kick on the 88th minute, Ihekwe trying to clear because I think Ross Stewart was behind him. And it was probably one of the best own goals you'll see all season, straight in the top corner. And at the time, we thought we'd blown it because we thought, now we've got to go to our next game to win it rather than to avoid defeat. Because if we'd have held on for the 1-0 win, we would have just had to avoid defeat at Gillingham. So, yeah, it started the panic buttons going a little bit. But as it turned out, it was the point that sent us up.
Am I right in thinking that if you'd have won this game and then the results had been as they were on Saturday, you guys have been champions? Or Am I dreaming that?
Well, yeah. Again, in hindsight, yes, we would have been.
Yeah.
But
It was that tight at the top of the table, wasn't it?
it was that. Well, yeah. Well, you'll see the final league positions as 3 points between three of us. So yeah. It probably would have won us the title, but we got there anyway. So
yeah.
But, who cares at the end of the day?
Yeah. But yeah, this stat here, the shots on target for Sunderland, no shots on target. That's kind of a stat that I've been too used to seeing this season. We've had no shots on target, but unfortunately, we've never been able to score any of them shots on the target. So yeah, very lucky for Sunderland to get a point out of that, which took them into the final day in a good position as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So moving on to Saturday's games, we will start with Jonathan with MK Dons at Plymouth. So because of all the results, you were relying on others, but also at the same time, Plymouth were desperate for a result as well to get into the playoffs themselves. So talk us through this one, mate. I think it'll be a lot about Scott Twine.
Yes, absolutely. I was nervous going into this, probably more nervous than I should have been. It was a case of as long as we got the win, that's all we could do. Plymouth actually started really well, and Twine hit the bar from a free kick before he actually scored his first free kick. Luke Jeffcott could have had a hat-trick in the first half. How he missed two of them, I'll never know. And it was a really good end-to-end game. And then Twine decided to have a little dance in the box, make it 2-0. Harry Darling scored a free header from a corner, make it 3-0. And then a real strange incident with Jordan Houghton. He's not a dirty, malicious player at all. Not quite sure the second booking was a booking, if I'm honest. And I couldn't understand it, but Plymouth were down to 10 men. And from then on, it was pretty comfortable. And obviously, Scott Twine goes and bags another 20 for the season, 33 goal contributions in 44 games. And we're not keeping him regardless. I think we said this in the pre-match, pre-show chat that we weren't going to keep him. And now we've got a double-header local derby against Wycombe to look forward to. And that's it, really.
I do think
it's spice, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, we won both games 1-0. Real edgy performances, but I do think we've got the quality to beat Wycombe over 2 legs, and that's not me being big-headed. It's whether we face Sheffield Wednesday or Sunderland in the final for me. I don't want Sheffield Wednesday. Sorry, Jake. I don't want you in the final if we get there.
Ian, you wanted to add something to that?
Yeah, I think the sending off were ridiculously harsh. I don't know what the first booking was for, but the second one, it looked in the referee's eyes that they were dying to send him.
Yeah.
As he walked slowly towards him, and I felt for Jordan now because was it even a foul?
Nah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was even a foul. Yeah, but that killed the. Well, were they 2-0 down, Jonathan, or 3-0 down when the red card happened?
3.
Yeah, well, it probably wouldn't have made any difference anyway. But yeah, I do feel for Argyle because 80 points and not even making the playoffs, that's unbelievable.
We said there was going to be a team that was going to hit 80 points and miss out on the playoffs. And Plymouth, for everything they've done this season, they were the pace setter, then they lost the manager. We were all wondering how they were going to be there. They had a little bit of a stumbling block when that did happen, but credit to them because they've managed to keep going. It's the interesting thing, will they be able to keep that team together next season? Because you might get people going for Jeff Copp now and stuff because they were lucky to keep him last season. And I don't think he's been the same player since Lowe came. He's not been a prolific.
Yeah. Well, Jeff Prince of Plymouth is kind of agreeing with you there. Said final thing from me, changing my name on here, is I don't want to see Jeff Cotton in Argyle top again.
Wow.
So not happy with his performances recently. probably the amount of shots that the chances that he missed in the first half. Like Jonathan said, he could have had an hat-trick yesterday, but converted none of them.
That's how it goes sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. So moving on to Rotherham. So with MK Dons winning 5-0, it was down to Rotherham to win their game to get promotion. And you did just that, Ian, with a 2-0 victory at Gillingham. Talk us through this one, mate.
Well, if it wasn't the last day of the season, I'd put this down as a comfortable 2-0 away win against a poor side. But it was just so nervy. I mean, because it only takes a second to score a goal. But Gillingham, virtually, apart from one effort that hit the bar, never threatened at all. We were comfortably in charge from minute 1 to minute 93 and 94. Probably one of the best debuts you'll ever see from Georgie Kelly, our Irish forward. But we were trying to get up to match fitness. He comes on and within 9 minutes scores the goal that sends us to the championship. That's not a bad debut, that. But yeah, comfortable 2-0 win, but it wasn't comfortable sat watching it. Wasn't comfortable at all. It was really, really nervy. And of course, we all knew what was happening at home park. So we all knew that one slip up and that was it. We were in the playoffs. Yeah, it all turned out okay in the end. And so let's see what next season brings. Yeah, I'm very happy. Yeah.
You know what? That's the best match fitness ever. You need to get you up to match fitness. Got to go now, Gaff. I'm off on holiday. See ya. Bye.
It's not a bad season's work, is it, really?
Yeah. Across this. Sorry, Jonathan, but I've got to put it up here.
Oh, God.
So, two South Yorkshire teams helping another South Yorkshire team out. Rovers, we have been poor all season, but managed to do the double over a team who arguably could have gone up in automatic places. Sheffield Wednesday, obviously a good team. They're in the playoffs, deservedly so as well.
To be fair, that game...
He's there. Just Donny and Wednesday helping Rotherham out with MK Dons there.
That first MK game was the game that Windass returned. And we were all like, right, Windass is going to shoot us up. And then 2 weeks later, he got injured again.
Sorry for that, Jonathan, but it had to be done. And the final team who were fighting for automatic promotion was Wigan. All they needed was a point for promotion. A win would win them the title, regardless of results around them. And emphatically put Shrewsbury to bed. Fairly fortunate for the first. Jake, you've not had the floor for a bit. Do you want to talk us through this one?
They were fortunate for that first goal, to be fair. And then Shrewsbury have been really good this season against certain clubs, and they showed it again.
Yeah,
they could build into being something quite good next season to get the recruitment right, because they've been one of those teams that are very dogged in what they do. But I'm so happy for Wigan, because after everything they had last season, and Wilkin in League One, he's a good player. I don't know how good he'll be with the step up in the Championship. Different kettle fit. I don't know, he might have a lot to pay, but getting no goal to seal it, and you see the reaction. If anyone's not seen the manager in the dressing room talking to him, it's a really good speech. And it's a team, you see what they went through and everything. They didn't deserve to go down from the Championship in the first place. It was very cruelly done, because they got themselves safe. Then have all the administration stuff and managed to stay up last season by the skin of the teeth. And then to go up this season, it's just perfect. It's what you want to see in football. They are a rugby town with a football element, and the football element being back is great for the club. And good luck to them in the Championship. They've really gone for it, and I think there was a lot of people saying they probably would get automatic this season. I don't think many people had them down for Championship though, in the champs. So that's really good, because everyone had Rotherham down for that.
Deservedly champions, and Liam Richardson, deservedly manager of the season for me.
Yeah.
Because he's pulled them up by the bootlaces, sorted everything out, assembled a really, really good squad. I mean, I think that centre-back, that Watmore from Portsmouth, probably the free transfer of the season. He's been like a colossus at centre-back for them. And Callum Lang, Will Keane, they've got a terrific squad and they're deservedly champions.
It's just a very smart, well-to-put squad. The recruitment been put on. They get what's happened. And I think with everything else happened, I think it's actually brought the fans, players, management, the whole club together. And I think sometimes that's something that for someone like Derby going into next season, they've already shown that this year in the Championship, that they've got that togetherness. That could be what key for them next season.
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah. I think Derby will probably win League One next season. I think if he can keep the young players together.
Yeah. I think Tyler's hit the nail on the head here with Wigan's story these past couple of seasons. Say from administration, just survived last season, new owners come in and invest, and then now the champions. So I think from a footballing point of view, regardless of your allegiances, I think it's a great story to see a club come from the brink and repair themselves and be back on track. So congratulations from all of us to Wigan Athletic for securing the champions of League One. So moving on to one of the teams that have made the playoffs just is Wycombe Wanderers. So we'll head to Jonathan for this one because Wycombe are the team that MK Dons will be facing in the League One playoffs. Thoughts on this and thoughts on them, mate? Do you think? Well, you've already said that you think you've got enough to do them across the two legs. Tell us why.
I just think that Wycombe have got one way of playing, and I'm trying to say this without sounding bitter and twisted and that, but it's not a British style of football. And I know Ian said that to me in private messages before. You know what you get with Wycombe, and I just feel that they've done well to get into the playoffs when there was a point where maybe they could have missed out, and they've done well to get there. And I just feel we've got different ways of winning, more ways of winning than Wycombe have, and this is probably going to come and bite me on the backside by the next time I'm on this show. But yeah, I just can't see unless they win the first leg at Adams Park. I honestly can't see any other result than us going to the final.
Just don't get a goal down to them, because if you get a goal down to Wycombe Wanderers, they will employ every single tactic they can possibly use. And by tactic, I mean time wasted.
It's anti-football, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really. I mean, they used to accuse us under Steve Evans, probably quite rightly for that. But it's the dark arts, isn't it? And it's not nice to see. Yeah.
Moving on to Morecambe 0, Sunderland 1. So this is the third team that has made it into the playoffs. So we've got MK Dons, Wycombe, and now Sunderland. Morecambe potentially needing a result, depending on results around them. But in the end, didn't need it. So Morecambe fans will be more than happy playing League One football once again. So Ian, on this one, Nathan Broadhead scoring in the 10th minute. Bit of a bad injury, could potentially rule him out.
Yeah, they've got about 3 or 4 big injuries, actually. I've been looking at it today.
First of all, congratulations to Sunderland. The club of that size should be making at least the League One playoffs. They've deserved it because the point Sally said so. Yeah. But I think out of the 4 playoff clubs, I think Sunderland, I might be wrong about this, I think Sunderland are the weakest of the 4. In my personal opinion.
I turn around and say he thinks they're underdogs in this one. And I kind of agree now.
But I'd like to see massive congratulations for a club of Morecambe size to survive in League One. It's a fantastic achievement. The club get very poor attendances. The budget is minimal. I mean, they've managed to hold on to Cole Stockton for the entire season, which is a miracle in itself, because he could have run a goal.
I doubt he'll be there.
No, he could have run a goal of the season competition on his own. But it's a fantastic achievement for Derek Adams and the guy that went before him. I can't remember his name.
Stephen Robinson, I think.
Yeah, Robinson, yeah. They've done a fantastic job up there. And to survive is a massive achievement for them. But, yeah, like I said, Sunderland deserve to be in the playoffs. But I don't think they'll get any further than the playoff semi-final, in my personal opinion.
They're coming, sorry to put you off, Ian. They're coming into the playoffs 13 unbeaten. So that's a decent bit of form coming in. I know you're saying that you think that the weakest out of the four. I can kind of understand where you're coming from with that, but coming into the playoffs 13 unbeaten, that's the kind of form you want to come into these playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, you go last six. You go last six in the League One form table. It's Sunderland, Wycombe, Bolton, us in the top four.
Crazy.
Yeah, but
if you go last 10, it's every single playoff team.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But they've been, apart from when they walloped Cambridge, which was a surprise result. I don't think they've been convincing, even though they stayed unbeaten. I don't think they were convincing yesterday. They certainly weren't convincing against us. So that's where my judgment on Sunderland being the weaker of the four comes from.
I get that. So moving on to the final team in the playoff, Sheffield Wednesday. Made it easy, didn't they, Jake? Tell us about this.
George sodding her. It had to be sodding him. And I even put a bet on that he would go, so I kind of did it myself, but I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was free money. 33,000 at Hillsborough, which is fantastic. You want to see a ground like that rocking, and we sure damn it did that, and we got the pricing right. But we do have a habit at the minute of needing clubs to score against us to then wake us up. And again, that was the situation, what would happen again. But we were very, very smart. We got back into it. We didn't drop our heads. And you got to remember, we were the team successfully this season. And me saying we struggled from coming from behind to get a result. Now, the last two games, we come from behind away and home. We have the best. Coming into the game, I'm confident because our home record is superb. One of the best in the country with 53 points this season. Fortress Hillsborough. But Lee Gregory, great goal. He's now on 16 goals per season. I can't remember the last time we had a season where we had two people with hat-tricks this season with Gregory and Berahino. That shows you how poor we've been up top for a while. Berahino, Jordan's story was unlucky, but the header landed perfectly for Berahino. Dory gets his goal, really clever. The only disappointing thing about this entire game, and in that second half, Bailey Peacock Fowl pulled off some brilliant saves to keep us in it because they did have their chances. But having Barry Bannon go off, everyone's a little bit of a worry when he came off around 60th minute. And there's some people said we could have taken him off, rested him, job was done. But that's not in Barry Bannon's nature. Yeah. It's not in his nature. He'll run for everything. He went down. Everyone would think it was a hamstring. End of the game, he was picking his little girl up, putting her on his shoulder. He was walking around. He wasn't limping. They weren't icing it up when he went off. I think he just got cramp. And Joe Byers' header was superb. I love a looping header. And he doesn't go many with his head. And he's had a better goal record since he's come here since Swansea. I think us managing to get him from Swansea has been some of our best business we've done. And he's ours, which is we're not falling in love with a lone player. We've made that mistake before, so he's ours. Windass on the corner as well. Windass came back on again. Windass isn't even, I wouldn't say 60 to 70% match fit yet. So we've got a player who's coming into fitness, which is good. But we didn't make it easy in the end. But fair play to Portsmouth. They brought a lot of fans with them. I don't know what net for Portsmouth because they seem like a club that don't seem to get it right. You always think they're going to have a good and it's not there. And I wonder if it needed Cowley to have a season to see what it is, see what needs, and then next season there might be a different animal. But we're in the playoffs. We made hard work of it to start off with, but then it was simple in the end. Yeah.
I think a lot of people said that it was a bit of a transitional period, a transitional season for Portsmouth. So I think judge Portsmouth next season. But it does seem that they're falling short a little bit at the minute. But something nice to see is 4 different scorers in that one.
We've had 21 different goals, like most of the seasons, is the stat I read. It's been really good that there's been goal coming. And we needed it, though, because you think about it, Lee Gregory was out for a long period of time. We've had Jock Windass out for so long. We've not had the best luck with strikers being, well, fit.
Yeah. So moving on to the Doncaster Rovers game, we've just passed the 30-minute mark. I'm a little bit conscious of time. Family's coming around for dinner, but we will plough on nonetheless. So this was the day that we've been expecting since probably Christmas, to be fair. On this channel, in the streams, we've been saying that it's only a matter of time before Doncaster got relegated, and take it to the final day is a little bit of an achievement, to be fair. It's not a great achievement. Don't get me wrong on that. It's not an achievement everybody would want, but to take it to the final day just shows that we have got a little bit of fight in us, and it gives us a little bit of hope and optimism going into League Two next year. But it's not going to be an easy task. We were talking before we came live. It's a tough league. It's a very tough league down there. It's a very competitive league, but the same kind of frailties were shown against Oxford with Billy Bowden scoring at the back post. But Josh Martin, one of the brighter sparks for Doncaster. Jonathan will know about Josh Martin from his early season form at MK Dons. But I don't know, he adds that little bit of bright spark to the team. And in a post-match press conference, he said something about we're in a good position for next year. And obviously, speculation season, everybody thinks it's now going to come to us next year. But I think a fairly strong end to the season. Jake, you talked about the form table. In the last 6, I think we're 10th. So it just shows that our last 6 games, we have actually put something in. Is that because we were playing with a bit more freedom? Is it players playing for contracts in League One again? We've had this conversation before, but
to be fair, you're only 4 points off safety, and at Christmas we didn't think you were going to have that, so that's an achievement in itself.
Yeah. So frustrating to go down, but it's a 46-game season. We have not been good enough, and we deserve to go down, which is unfortunate. But we will be in League Two next year, and as I said at the start of the video, this means that this stream might have a rebrand. I think we'll probably have Ian as our Championship correspondent, and we'll see how the playoffs go for who's the League One correspondent, and I'll be the League Two correspondent. And it might just be an half-an-hour league EFL show, maybe something like that. But we'll get to the drawing board on that.
We'll work it out.
Yeah. So because one of you two are going to be the League One correspondent anyway. It's inevitable. Yeah.
So that confirmed Doncaster's relegation, unfortunately. The next team confirmed to go down was AFC Wimbledon. There's a bit of a rivalry here, so I think I've got to go with Jonathan, haven't I? Be nice, obviously. There's a rivalry there, but Wimbledon, poor form for some time, and it's caught up with them on the final day and sent them down, mate. Talk us through this.
Well, you don't win for 26 or 27 games in a season, and Doncaster pip you at the end and go above you at the end of the season, then you know you deserve to go down. I'm trying to find... I honestly can't find a positive for their season. They lost Joe Piggott, didn't replace him. Such a youngster, I think the youngest squad in League One, I believe, or one of the youngest. And to be fair, they gave it a go in the last game. I think Accrington were 2-0 up at one point, and the second half was just mad. But whether they'll come straight back up next season, I'm not sure. I've got more confidence in Gillingham and Doncaster doing it than I have AFC Wimbledon, and that's not with my biased head on whatsoever. As for Accrington, another brilliant season. John Coleman again deserves all the plaudits. Another team that got a very low budget, and I think Accrington to have mid-table is a fantastic achievement for them.
Accrington are the sort of club you just don't want to play at any time, because you know what you're going to get from them. You're going to get 110% commitment, whether there's anything riding on the game or not. John Coleman always sets his sides up to attack you. And they're And they're a credit to the League One, to be quite honest with you. For them, again, like Morecambe, a very small budget, but they've got an identity, Accrington. If you go to the Crown Ground or they come to you, you're going to get a game. They're very rarely thrashed. They lose games, but they're very rarely thrashed. And I don't know, the archetypal League One. They never seem to threaten the playoffs, but they never seem to have any danger of going down. They're just a good League One team.
Yeah, solid League One.
Identity key, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need an identity as a club to perform to the standards that your fans expect, I think. But Tyler's dropped in the chat, commiserations to myself. Good to see Donny go down. Hopefully see you back up here soon. Nat's popped in as well. Hopefully Donny comes straight back up. So
I agree.
Commiserations to all 4 teams who have gone down: Crewe, Wimbledon, Gillingham and Doncaster. It's tough to take. I think I've taken it a little bit easier because it's been coming.
Am I right that all the clubs that went down got new managers to try and do the new manager bounce? Pretty much, they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
There was only Crewe.
Yeah,
they got rid of Artell once they'd gone down.
Yeah.
But yeah, we tried the new manager bounce, and it has kind of worked because I think we were 9 points adrift under Wellands, and then we're only 3 points behind under McSheffrey. But
that feels like a lifetime ago. You saying Wellands?
Yeah.
It
was a number of results what defined our season. I mean, you look at the hammerings against Rotherham, Charlton, Cheltenham, Ipswich. There was a lot of goals scored in those games, but I think it's more of the tighter games where the 4-3 at Morecambe after being 3-0 up. It's games like that where our season was defined. But it is what it is. League 2 next season, I'm looking forward to it. Jack Ball has asked, are you planning away days? I'll try and get to a few. I got to 4 games this season away from home, but obviously mortgage, bills, we've got a wedding to pay for as well. So lots of money to be saved and priorities are elsewhere other than football.
So basically, Dan doing overtime coming out of your ears.
Yes. But I have got my season tickets, I'll be at every home game next season. Don't you worry. So Ian, you want to take this one? Fleetwood were relying on other results, but it didn't matter in the end. A 4-2 defeat. Nappers was over the moon, getting battered 4-2.
I couldn't be more pleased for Nappers because his match day vlogs are out of this world. They're absolutely brilliant. He wears his heart on his sleeve the whole time. Fleetwood kept chipping away at them, but Bolton seemed to have another gear that they could get up. I think, to be quite honest, I think Bolton will really have a promotion charge next season. Everett, for all his verbal failings, has started to assemble quite a strong squad there. Yeah. And although I think did Bolton finish 11th or 10th or something like that?
Yeah,
I think they could really threaten the top 6 next season, if not the top 2. They seem to be a good side, and some of the goals they score are very, very good as well. I think he's recruited well in January. Sadly, he seems to have fitted in quite well there. He seems to have got a position he can play in. And I think Bolton is still a little bit dodgy at the back. But that can be addressed in the summer, can't it? And And it seemed to be like a routine 4-2 win, really. But I don't think Nappers or any Fleetwood fans care about that. They stay up, so...
No, they really don't.
So, yeah. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, Tyler said Dion Charles's goal, second goal, never seen anything like it. It's kind of put a tackle on the line. It's just looped over the keeper. It's comical, isn't it?
That was a fluke of the season, weren't it? He'll probably try and claim he meant it, but no, it was funny.
If you want luck next season, Bolton, put a muzzle on your manager.
So we've got 3 more games to go at before we look at the table, and all of these were pretty much dead rubbers. So we'll fly through these. We'll start with Ipswich 4, Charlton 0. tough season for both teams. Jake, do you want to take this one? It's two teams that we expected to be fighting
We
up there.
expected them to be fighting. Ipswich
Yeah.
season really got better when they got McKenna in. Paul Cook just didn't work for whatever reason. I don't know if it was too many players in and not gelling and stuff. They play really well at the tail end. I think if they got one or two more results, they could have got it. I have seen that Jane Norwood might be leaving at the end of the season. He put a bit of a statement out saying, so it looked like a listen. It was very simple for Ipswich, weren't it? Charlton really did just clocked out. They're already gone. They already knew the season. Nothing to play for. And Ipswich, they've been fun to watch. And I think if they get recruitment again, I don't think they need much.
No, I think they're one to watch next season for sure.
Webb Burns, I think they might struggle to keep him because he's a good player. I think he's a little bit too good for League One. Yeah. He put himself in the shot window. They're just a really good team. I like watching Ipswich. If I wasn't in the position of watching like Wednesday League One, they got the new manager though. The manager situation changed, the whole club changed, and maybe they could have done with sacking him a bit earlier, and they would have been up there. I think they would have done a Plymouth, got close to it.
Possibly, yeah.
But they've been very good.
Looking at this game, it's a good time to bring Tyler back in. I've said all I need to say about us in my video today, so head over to his channel and check that out after the stream. Everything about this club is a shambles right now. With 17 out of contract players, I hope none of them put our proud shirt on again. So
that's a bit scary.
Under boots, we had the flip flops on.
Well, we had 16 out when we came down, so that's a big ask.
Wow. Yeah. Going to be a big summer for Charlton, definitely. Jonathan, do you want to take this one? So Lincoln 2, Crewe 1, another dead rubber. As I say, there's 3 dead rubbers here where no team had anything to play for really other than just to play the season out. But at the end of this, Appleton leaves Lincoln. So talk to us about that, mate.
Well, I know a few Lincoln fans that wanted Appleton out sooner. I also know people like Jake really wanted Appleton to stay. Tong was a massive Appleton fan. And all I'll say to the fans that wanted Michael Appleton out, be careful what you wish for, because I'm sure all 4 of us on this stream would love a Michael Appleton in their team. He recruits young players, gets them on loan. You look at what Brennan Johnson's doing at Nottingham Forest. You look what Lewis Fiorini done second half of the season. Maybe they were expecting slightly better this season. They haven't, again, like Accrington, haven't really been thrashed throughout the season. But I just hope Lincoln can have a better season next season. They have got some real good quality players in there. Be interesting to see what happens with John Marquis, whether they sign him next season. And as for Crewe, well, again, I'm not too sure if they'll bounce straight back up. It depends on what happens within them. But it's been a struggle for them. It's sad to see them go as well. But I say to Lincoln fans, careful what you wish for, losing Michael Appleton.
Yeah, Jake's popped in the chat and said potentially Ian Foster set to take over. So a little bit of hearsay on that. England under 19 manager could be a good.
Teams like Lincoln and Portsmouth, it's like how if they're able to keep their core team together without losing many players. If they lose a lot of players, it could be the different mega. Hey, we get to do the klaxon.
Right at the end.
That.
Next Rovers play a klaxon, but this one, it's all down to you, Ian, for this Cambridge versus Cheltenham. 2-2 on the day. Alfie May scoring twice. Cheers, Alfie. Ex-Rovers play a klaxon. We have to drink on that, obviously. Not all of us do drink, but I'll drink for you.
2 teams, Cambridge and Cheltenham. They've had fantastic seasons after promotion. Got 2 great managers in Duff and Bonner. Cambridge, in particular, impressed me on both the times that we played them. We beat them twice, but they were very competitive in both games. Ironside and Smith are formidable strike force in this division. But you've got to take your hat off to Alfie May, haven't you? Really. I mean, 20-plus goals And because I don't think they even play him as a central striker. He's more like an inside forward, the old-fashioned inside forward. But some of the goals he has got this season have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And go on.
Sorry, I don't know if I heard it right on Quest, but I think Alfie May's doubled his career tally in goals just this season.
Yeah.
That's incredible, isn't it? Yeah. That is incredible.
Sorry for cutting you off, mate.
Oh, it's all right. No, I think both supporters of both clubs should be very, very pleased and very, very proud of the seasons that they've had. And it sounds like, well, I've seen the goals, but a very entertaining end-of-season game. A dead rubber, yeah. But nice to see a game like that to finish off and go into the summer with.
Yeah,
it's also nice to see all promoted teams pretty much stay up.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they have, haven't they?
Wow. There we go. That's disappointing for me to hear, but there you go. So just before we have a look at the table, this is the playoff semi-finals schedule, if you don't know it. So Wycombe against MK Dons. Your first game, Jonathan, is away from home because obviously you finished higher than Wycombe in the table. So that is Thursday, the 5th of May at 7:45. And then day after, Friday the 6th, is Sunderland, Sheffield Wednesday. And then Sunday the 8th is the return fixture for MK Dons Wycombe. And then Monday the 9th is the return fixture for Sheffield Wednesday versus Sunderland. So same question to both of you guys. I'll start with Jonathan, with you having your game first. Is the away game first an advantage for you, or do you just think it's a lottery?
Playoffs are a lottery. Form goes out the window, everything like that. Our away form has been phenomenal this season. We've gone to the top two and we've won. We've gone to Plymouth, obviously, last game of the season. I think they were a fortress as well and won. As Ian said, if Wycombe score first, then it's going to be really difficult. I think we need to be on the front foot. We need to be like we were in the season. Honestly, think Jake's mate Theo might make an appearance there and absolutely destroy Jacobson, hopefully. And if we get to Wembley, then I'm sorry, I will be crossing my fingers. It's Sunderland, because I don't want another Barry Bannon masterclass to watch live.
Yeah.
There we go. So, same question to you, Jake. And we've got Sean Pace in the chat saying, praying that Broadhead's back for the playoffs. So that injury does look like he might be out for the playoffs, but we will keep a close eye on that one. And also, Matt, Sheffield Wednesday fan, wishes Jonathan good luck in the playoffs. So, same question to you, mate. Away fixture first.
I think it's an advantage. Us starting away, we've got a bad away thing. If we can nick a 1-0 to start off with, and like Jonathan said, form goes out the window. But you're looking at the teams that have gone into the top four teams who have been in that kind of position, gone for it, and the form table are all in there, about. And the thing is, the thing that we got players who are coming back from fitness. So we've got a Josh Windass who hasn't played all season. He could have been the complete difference maker this season for us. We've got Barry Bannon. We're sweating on an injury situation, which I think he can be okay. And our home record is superb. Our home record is the best in the league. We are top of that. We do play a lot better at home. And I think the only thing I've got is we haven't faced an Alex Neil side. We faced a Lee Johnson side all season. We got battered at Sunderland 5-0. And we got absolutely battered. But I think we're a different team from what we were there. And I'm hoping we can get MK in the final, because I think it'll be a better final than Wednesday Wycombe.
It'll be a better football match.
Yeah, it'll be a better football match. Well, the thing is, Wicked have got twine because of what he can do, so it could be a fun one.
Yeah, true enough.
But it's going to be interesting.
Probably the best advert for League One football.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I think we get an entertaining final.
And I agree. Fair play to Sunderland. Since they got rid of Johnson, they have really made a difference, and they've gone up and really done well. They've got a lot of injuries they're sweating on. I think they've got 3 or 4 they may have it. He basically said, Neil turned around and said, we haven't got a striker left if Broadhead is injured. And
Yeah,
for us,
yeah.
that's an advantage.
What about McGeady? McGeady was on the bench yesterday, and he can do damage.
I know, we had it. We had him. It was rubbish for us. He went to Sunderland. He went back to being a world beater. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the schedule for the playoffs. It's looking like it's going to be an entertaining semi-final. Matchups against Wycombe and MK Dons and Sunderland and Sheffield Wednesday. So good luck to all four teams. Like we say,
see me
it is a bit
on
of a
May the
lottery.
7th, Dan. I might be in a good mood or a bad mood, depending on what the game was Friday.
Same.
Well, I'll be very nervous. So whichever mood you're in, you might end up impacting mine.
I won't do a Paolo Di Canio on you, I promise.
Oh wow! So just to finish off, well, before we finish off, we will take one last look at the table. 46 games played. It's been a long old season, but we've been served up some great entertainment at both ends of the table, and it went down to the final day for pretty much 23. I think 23 out of the 24 teams could move position on the final day of the season, which is just mental.
Is that not just a good advert for League One or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we are there.
Towards the bottom. Crewe relegated a few weeks back, but on the final day, confirmation for AFC Wimbledon, Doncaster and Gillingham. I believe 22nd is the highest that Rovers have finished since the first day of the season, which was 20th, and that was in alphabetical order. So that just shows how poor a season we had and how big a summer is needed. But as we said earlier in the stream, Morecambe came up. Did Morecambe come up last season? They did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Right, the playoffs.
Yes, Morecambe, Cheltenham, Cambridge all came up and have all survived League One. And the other team to come up was Bolton, who performed the best out of the promoted teams, finishing 9th. But I feel for Plymouth, 80 points would normally get you in and around.
Automatic.
Sometimes, yeah, automatic more often than not. But it just shows the strength at the top end of the table. So congratulations to Wigan in confirming champions status and championship football next year. Commiserations to MK Dons just missing out, but I think a 5-0 win away from home puts you in good stead going into the playoffs. Congratulations to Rotherham for confirming automatic. So
Ian,
we'll just go
do me a
from Jake.
favour.
Yeah.
Stay in the championship this time. We're sick of the yo-yo stuff. Stay there.
Yeah, that's the ambition.
So we will just
Before
we finish. So we'll start with Ian because you're promoted. Your season's done. Final thought quickly on the season, and yeah, just to finish off.
I think we deserved it. We had a massive blip towards March and the beginning of April, where I actually thought we were going to miss out altogether. But over the season, we've played some great stuff. We've scored a lot of goals. We've entertained. And I think we deserve our promotion. As for next season, we almost managed to stop in the championship last season. It was only an 88-minute Cardiff equaliser that stopped us doing that.
Yeah.
So the ambition has got to be recruit in the summer with championship experience, keep the nucleus of the side that we've got at the moment, try and keep our better players, because that won't be easy, and go again under Paul Warne of the championship yet again, competing with teams with parachute payments and everything else.
Wish you all the luck in the world, mate. Before
thank you,
Jonathan. We've got 80 ID. This is Defcott, the Prince of Plymouth, has changed his name now. And he says, look at that form, worst of the top 12. We didn't deserve it in the end. So, yeah, I think just died off towards the end of the season. But like Ian just said, keep the nucleus of your squad together, a couple of shrewd additions, and you never know, next season you might have the enough legs to go throughout the full season. Jake, final few words for you, mate, going into the playoffs. How are you feeling?
It's the playoffs. Anything can happen. It's the cruelest way to get into a division. I always think, even when you get to the final, just enjoy it. Fingers crossed we can do it, and I might not have no nail by this time next week. Next time.
Finally, Jonathan, on to you, mate. Final thoughts for the season, and how are you feeling going into the playoffs?
Very, very enjoyable season. Enjoyed all of League One. Nervous, bricking it about the playoffs. My first playoff campaign following them, and I am absolutely bricking it. I just don't know what to say. I mean, credit Wigan and Rotherham. We did put up a good fight. I have had a few Rotherham fans messaging me saying that they didn't expect us to finish the season so strong. But, oh, God, I hate the playoffs. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It's the most fabulous way to win promotion, though. It's the most fantastic way to win promotion. You know, Wembley final and a Wembley win.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But from an outsider looking in, I think this is probably the best way a season could end. Well, I say that, not for me, it'd be nice to survive, but from I class you three as good friends. You've been on the channel throughout the season, so I think promotion for Rotherham is fantastic. And for me, I want to see a Sheffield Wednesday MK Dons final. I know one of you will end up being disappointed, but I think it'll be a fantastic advert for League One. And
Jonathan, shall we go hide behind the sofa now? And just wait until...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But I will finish off now because I've heard my parents come around for dinner, so I'm going to have to get off. So once again, big thank you for joining us for an hour on your Sunday evening. Don't forget, head over to these guys' socials, follow them. It's all in the description down below. I am less than a week away from playing in the Evestrust charity game. There's a link to the donation page there. I've broke £10,000 in 3 years, so I'd really appreciate as much as possible going towards local families who are suffering the hardest time of their lives. So it'd be great if you could drop a couple of quid in there for me. I'd really appreciate it. Paolo Di Canio was announced today for Sheffield Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
I am so looking forward to watching him play.
And he's added to Chris Waddle, Des Walker, Chris Brunt. It's stacked with ex-pros. James Coppins is back for Doncaster Rovers as well, so it's going to be fantastic.
Well, Carboni was at Hillsborough yesterday. He is in Sheffield, so you never know, there might be another one.
Let's get the band back together.
Yes.
So, once again, thank you for watching this evening. Go ahead, subscribe to everybody on this channel. And yeah, thanks for sticking with us all season in what's been a topsy-turvy rollercoaster ride. It's not quite over yet for Jake and Jonathan. So, if you've enjoyed this and you're watching it on repeat, please stick a big thumbs up on that. Comment in the section down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. As always, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.